Good gosh, my friends, it is time. It is time for AutoCAD. So, I wanted to do this sort of ABC thing because I want you guys to pay close attention to this video. I want this to be a video that you can return to, that you could take notes on, like I did when I was in high school. Take close notes on this video. That is what's going to help you out with doing AutoCAD. Now, if we're going in terms of ABC, B would be beginning. This is the beginning of your journey with 3D modeling. And I'm going to tell you right now, it will probably be difficult, but it will get easier. I absolutely promise you it will. Now, we have, when we open up our AutoCAD, it looks like this little pink box with an A on it. We have this that comes up when we first sign in. You can see up here, this is my name, my account details. When you open AutoCAD, you will need to sign in. I know it's a pain, but you each have individual accounts. The reason why we are using AutoCAD is not because it's my favorite. It's not because it's the most powerful and best ever. We are using it because it is the industry standard for architecture and a lot of engineering. And using AutoCAD will make you proficient enough in 3D modeling that you will be able to use other programs like SolidWorks or Rhino, or Fusion 360, which is also made by Autodesk. So when I go to new right here, this is making a new file, and I've got a couple of things that I can choose from. Civil metric would be using centimeters and millimeters, but our laser cutter is in inches, and this is the template for our laser cutter. Guys, if you have not already downloaded this drawing template, I need you to do that. Somebody might have already done it in your downloads, but I need you to download this. This is our laser cutter template, and you will need to put things on this template in order to cut them on the laser cutter. Now, it is made specifically for the laser cutter. Now that we're logged into our computer, I can see that I'm logged in here. This is my name. If you need to log out eventually, you can do so by hitting sign out. However, we don't need to do that yet. What we need to do is open a new document. Now, the way that you get this ULS 24 by 18 with fonts is you go to your Schoology and you hit the VIP links, and it should be in there. Right away, we open this. And if we're going, again, by the alphabet, the first thing that I want you to notice is this white stripe down here that says type a command. Now, every time that you hit your mouse on the computer, it is sending a line of code to that computer, telling it to do something. And that is the way that AutoCAD works. Now, if you have any command, if you want to make a rectangle, all you have to do is start typing on the screen. That's it. It doesn't have to be any specific place. It can be in the command line, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. To get out of a command, you hit the escape key on your keyboard. Now, when you are selecting things on AutoCAD, there are two options. You can do a lasso, or you can do a box. You do a lasso by clicking and holding your right click. You do a box by clicking and dragging. That's it. That's how you do it. The other thing that I want to mention, if you are to make two rectangles, you can make the first one by going up to your draw, and you'll have this. It may be in a different place, but your draw tools are what we're going to use. They're very important. And you can just hit rectangle. You can specify your first corner, and then you get two boxes here. I can type in exact dimensions that I want here. The way I get from the first dimension to the second dimension is by hitting comma or hitting tab, and that'll get you to the second dimension. Now, you'll notice if I select all of these, they all are selected at once. Now, if you don't like that, if you want, and I hit just escape just now to deselect this, if you want one to come up and then you click a different one, it selects just that one, and then you can hit shift and select them all. You have to hit this button in your properties. This is pick add. So the way that I like to have my sort of AutoCAD setup is I like to have my layer properties and my properties on the side panel. Now watch, I can delete those really quick and I can get them back by doing this. There's a little arrow in the bottom of your screen. I can take this, whoop, and it's going to be easier on your end, but I'm going to anchor left. And I'm going to make this come out. Perfect. Then I can do the exact same thing if I go down to my layers. Boop, boop, boop. Layer properties, rather. Thank you. And I take this and I bring it over here. And I like having those. Now, why is that? I'll tell you why. It's because when you are doing anything on this laser cutting template, you have 5 different layers. This 0, it doesn't really matter. What matters is the engraving field. That is basically the bed of our laser cutter. That's the space that we have to cut. You've got raster, which is cutting images like you would on an inkjet printer where it goes back and forth. I can show you some examples of that. You've got vector cut, which is tracing lines. Now you may remember when we've talked about vectors in physics, it's one line with a direction. And you can see I'm making one line with a direction right here. That is my vector. But maybe on the laser cutter, you don't want to cut all the way through. You want to just engrave something. And you can do that in your vector engrave. So what if I were to draw a little smiley face eye? I don't even know. I'm hitting spacebar to just do the same command over again. And I was given this little thing, an eyelash and then an eye. Anyway, none of that really matters right now. So those are my different layers that I have with my laser cutting template. But that doesn't really, well, actually that does matter right now, because what I want to do for our first assignment is you are going to be taking an image and moving it into AutoCAD. You're going to trace it, and then we're going to output it onto our laser cutter. Now I already downloaded an image. So since I downloaded that image, I'm all good, but I can go to my XREF, and I'm doing that by typing in XREF. X, not EX, just X. And that stands for external reference. Okay? Now I'm going up here, and it says attach DWG. Now that's an AutoCAD file. That's not what I want to do. I want to go down and I want to hit attach image. Now I'm going to my downloads. This is who I want. His name is Alan. He is from Smiling Friends. I love him. Smiling Friends just came back, so I'm excited. So now Alan is in my file. You know what I'm going to do next? I'm going to save my file. I can do it with this little key right here, and I'm going to save this as XREF drawing Taylor. And I'm going to save it to the file I made right here on my desktop. It's over here. It's called Taylor Pistorius. I'm going to save it right there. Okay. All right. So now I have my Alan on my desktop.
Babe, check out this salsa lick.
Babe, I'm making a video for my students right now. Right now, like as we speak. Sorry, everybody. I'm back. Okay. I'm going to click this image. If I want to change anything about my image, if I want to hide it, I have stuff up here. But if I want to change the layer, I can click on it and it's selected. And I can go to my properties over here. And I can change the layer, and you can tell that I've changed the layer by the color it is. Now, something that I like to do a lot of the time, but you don't have to do, is lock the layer that I don't want to move. And that's this and this. And that'll make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk about for this brief video, before I start tracing the exterior of my Allen with my spline, is I wanted to talk about object snaps. Now, object snaps can come in so much handy when you need them, but they're often a pain when you don't need them. Now, what you're seeing with these green lines right now is my polar. I'm going to go and hit Control Z. I'm going to put this dot right here. But that's my polar tracking. Now, you can see the polar tracking, polar tracking right here. And then I've got my snapping reference lines as well. But this is my object snap. And what I have selected here is endpoint, midpoint, geometric center, and nearest. Now I'll show you what it looks like to snap to my nearest. Again, I'm going to my spline. There it is. And I am currently just doing the outline. And I'm doing my outline in red. I'm hitting the space bar to go again. I'm just doing my red outline. This is going to be my cutout line. Now, once I do my whole outline in red, I'm going to start the engraving portion in blue on the inside. I hit the space bar again, and I'm keeping working. Again, I'm using that spline command, just that same command that I found in my drawing tools. And I'm just playing with it, seeing how it works. If I wanted, I could always turn off my snapping. Now it's gone. Don't need it anymore. I can always hit Control Z if I don't like the point I choose. And then to finish this off, I can just hit Enter. Now, the last thing I want you to do is select all these lines that you drew and hit J for join. Now, if all my lines are correct, if I use my object snaps, see, this line doesn't match up with this one. Let's find out why. Can I join them by going J, enter? Ooh, looks like I can. Fabulous. Now let's try this one. J, enter. Perfect. Look at that, I've got one line. That's what the laser cutter likes. All right, this is my first video. I'm gonna keep doing this, and then we'll move on to the next part. Stay tuned, and goodbye, my friends.